Welcome to AstroLyrical, the podcast where music meets astrology, where I, Liana Bassior, scope out the hidden astrology of up-and-coming musical artists and discover how the stars show up in their music, songs, and lyrics. Hello and welcome, everyone.
Hi.
I'm very excited. It's been such a wonderful season of so many different guests, including guests being the people that work on this show, which is so fun because you guys are working behind the mic, like doing behind the scenes work, and
The
you
puppeteering.
like producing and writing things, and you do all the graphic design work and everything. So I'm really happy to have you now with me on the show. This is Danielle. She is one of the
Hi.
producers and graphic designers for the podcast. Thank you for being on with me.
You're welcome.
We're very excited because this is a holiday episode of AstroLyrical. And for that occasion, I felt like, just like we did for the intro, I feel like it's really fun to have a conversation with other people about their experiences of the holidays and what that means to them. And specifically with this episode, we're going to be talking about Yule in Winter Solstice. But before we get into that, I am very curious of your feelings about the holidays, Christmas, what your experiences are. Do you like it? Are you kind of like over it? Where are you at with the holidays?
Nobody can be over Christmas.
Some
first
people,
of
I
all.
feel like, get exhausted and are like,
Yeah,
just, can it be
an
done?
overwhelming, like a family, like lots of family, lots of buying, lots of consumerism.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can't, I love Christmas.
Yeah.
I love Christmas. I love presents. I like getting presents. I like giving presents. I like eating candy.
Yes.
I like eating cookies. I like eating food. It's like a whole...
So you love all of it.
I love all of it. I love most of it.
Yeah. Oh, what are the parts you don't like?
I'm just not I'm just kind of a Grinch when it comes to like holiday music. Holiday movies. I don't know. I just like... I can't...
So I have these sometimes I get astrological theories, and there's no basis for actually any of this, but this is just my interpretation. So me and my boyfriend were talking about holiday music yesterday. He's not really about Christmas music. He likes Feliz Navidad.
It's annoying.
Well, see, that's the thing.
It is annoying.
My theory is that if you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, you love Halloween. I feel like we've talked about this.
I do love
Halloween is the Scorpio's holiday.
Yeah.
But like Christmas music and like that's just not
just
a Scorpio
so, like,
person's thing.
It's so like ooey gooey, like we love everybody and baby Jesus and like chorus and I don't know. It's just so much. It doesn't seem real to me. Like nobody's listening to Christmas music because they like Christmas music.
I like Christmas music.
Do you listen to Christmas music any other month besides December?
Well, no, I don't. But
so you don't like Christmas music.
Well, here's the thing.
It's just a thing to do during Christmas.
I love it for the season. Like when I was younger, I would listen to it all month long in my mom's car. And so for now, now it's kind of shifted where I like listening to it. I like caroling. I like all that, but I don't listen to it as much.
Do you actually go caroling?
You're
out in the streets singing songs.
Well, back in my hometown, it was a little bit easier to do that. So we did do that a couple.
That's adorable.
Years, yes.
And I actually really love that.
Yeah, it was very cute. And our family, is and was a very musical family, especially my dad, who, I think led kind of the musical charge. So we did do it a little bit.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see the like warm fuzzies coming from that.
See, and well, actually, and it's really fun because we're going to talk about some music that's associated, what I believe is associated with Yule and Winter Solstice. But that's the thing is like a lot of the songs that are Christmas songs or holiday songs come from older traditions, which I think is super cool. And that's why I get into it.
Just Mariah Carey. Just like
maybe not Mariah Carey, but that's a classic.
The number one Mariah Carey song. Which one is that? All I Want for Christmas.
All I Want for Christmas. Don't do it for karaoke though, because that is a really hard song to sing. I've tried. It does not
You don't
work.
think All I Want for Christmas has like strong historical ties to Yule?
You know, that one, no, I don't think that has any
why
Yule.
It's breaking the charts every year.
No, that was just people in the 2000s wanting an anthem. That's what it was. So I don't know about that one. But not the modern Christmas songs, but like ones that are like carols.
Noel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Carols.
Noel. And the one I was talking about earlier with one of our other producers and I'll get into the historical stuff about it, but it's called Here We Come a Wassailing. Do you know that song?
No. Wait, it kind of actually does sound
This might
familiar.
be,
give us a few bars.
Okay. It goes,
come on.
Okay, yeah, come on. Here we come a wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a wassailing, da 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 da. Love and joy come to you and to you.
My God.
You know that one.
All of a sudden, I get it.
Yes. Have I converted you to love carols?
That was a moment.
Thank you.
Actually, I love it. And does that sound familiar to
me? These are like old school carols, like choirs sing these things, you know? And it's really interesting because that has a lot of significance with the Yule, with the winter solstice, which I really want to talk about. I'm curious have you heard of Yule or winter solstice at all?
I know like Yule logs.
Yes.
Like the cakes.
Which I'll
Yule.
talk about that symbolism.
And I know it's like, I know Yule logs.
Yes.
With the that's something traditional. I know
Well, there is the cake, but then it's based out of something else too, which is pretty cool.
And wasn't it kind of like Thanksgiving? Like you're giving thanks it's like a banquet.
Yeah. I mean, it's connected. Yeah. So that's part of winter solstice and Yule. And, you know, it's interesting because I think when you're a kind of witchy person, you always somewhat know about winter solstice.
It's in your blood.
When it's like in your blood.
You know it.
And I think as I've gotten more into astrology and as my path went down a witchier path, I started learning and wanting to understand winter solstice even more. And what's really cool about it, I mean, Yule and winter solstice are a similar thing. It's about a celebration. And it's a celebration about more light coming into the season. You know?
Wait, hold on. Let me.
Yes.
So when you say winter solstice, this is like a star, like this is like a.
So winter solstice is essentially what it means is it's the longest night of the year.
Okay.
And it's the birth of the sun god. And so basically it's like celebrating the sun god coming in because each day we are gaining more light.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's really fun. So people, like, it started with the Germanic people. And basically every year on the 21st or the 22nd, they would have these 12-day celebrations where they would be celebrating the sun's return. They would light candles, they would have bonfires, they would do dancing, they would eat, they would give each other gifts. So it's kind of similar to Christmas, you know? But it has more of a connection to nature. Which is like really beautiful.
Nice.
And that's the thing is like it's more about connecting to the season and what's happening with our season and the sun and the cold and everything. So it's like, okay, we are celebrating.
It's like a community event. Like
yes.
Everyone's coming together.
And the shift into a new change. Because, so what the winter solstice actually is it's literally the shortest day in the year where the sun is farthest south in the northern hemisphere. And then at the winter solstice, the sun is traveling the shortest distance in the sky. So it has the least daylight and the longest night. That's like what it is. The longest night. Yeah.
Dang.
So that's what it literally is doing in terms of the sun and the actual science behind it. But in terms of the culture, people really appreciate it because it's just a chance to, in the darkness, feel like there is a movement towards hope. And there's a movement towards like community and being able to, I don't know, see that there's something around the corner. It's not
That's
just
so
darkness.
nice.
I
And then
know.
somewhere along the way, we got Santa Claus.
Right, which actually is very interesting too, because that also connects to something in the, again, Northern Germanic people as well. And I was starting to research that as well. So there's a god named Odin, and he is called the Yule Father. And basically, there's a lot of similarities between him and Santa Claus. And there's no like actual like science of like he is Santa Claus, but there's all these connections.
The science. The science of Santa
Of it
Claus.
all. But it's like he had a horse named, I might be butchering it, but Sleipnir, and this horse had 8 legs, similar.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen,
8
Comet, Cupid.
reindeer. Exactly.
Donner, Vixen.
Donner. That was impressive.
Did I get them all?
And Rudolph.
Oh,
the 9th.
Sorry.
But basically, the Vikings and other Northern European people believe that Odin raced across the windy night skies, leading his pack of gods, elves, beasts, and ancestral spirits in a great hunt against the ice giants and forces of darkness, and would actually bring gifts to children and things like that too.
That's way more exciting than Santa Claus.
I'm telling
gods,
you.
What did you say? Gods, beasts, and
leading
elves?
his pack of gods, elves, beasts, and ancestral spirits in a wild hunt. Yeah.
I want them coming down my chimney.
I
That's
mean,
pretty sick.
It's pretty cool, right? But that's the thing. It's like so many of the things that we do now, we don't realize it.
Has a connection back in the old days.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the really cool thing. But what I appreciate the most out of Winter Solstice is the idea that like we're taking this idea of slowing down. And like in the actual, Germanic people's time, they did it because of the agricultural year too. Like this was a season when they didn't need to work as hard. They didn't need to do as much farming. Like things were dying off other than below the earth. And it was interesting too, because also a reason why they celebrated was because there was a lot of cows and stuff that would not make it through the winter. So sadly, they killed them, but it created a big feast. Exactly. So it's like, this is such a reminder, thinking about Winter Solstice, of like how they were really in touch with the cycle of the seasons and nature.
Well, you had to be back then because everything was like dictated on the stars.
The light.
Like, the sun, moon, and stars.
Yeah.
And now we have like 9-to-5 jobs all the time, and we
and
can't slow down.
That's the
No
thing.
slowing down.
That's what's so sad too, is that I feel like our bodies are still somewhat connected to this like ancient, culture.
We're all just desperate to go into hibernation at this time, and like
that's why we're tired. That's why we're exhausted. We are craving like to rest. We're craving those warm foods and tea and light. It's like, but now we have like artificial light, which is kind of different.
Like tricking our brains.
Kind of, yeah. So it's like we're not letting ourselves actually slow down the way that like our bodies want to, which is really weird. And I wish that was different.
That sounds so nice.
I know, right? Well, and then plus like
sounds so nice.
I mean, bringing the astrology in too, it's like we are also now, we just started a Mars retrograde, which I think I've talked to you a little bit about. But it's like
tough out there right now.
It's tough out there. Luckily, as we're recording this, Mercury is going direct.
Does that mean things are going to get better?
Yeah. I mean, it's still in its shadow for 2 weeks, but it will get a little easier day-to-day wise, communication wise. But
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's good. But like the Mars retrograde of it all is all about like the energy force that we have and like our direction and motivation. And so the truth is, for the next, I don't know what, it's going to last until late February. So 2.5 months. For the next 2.5 months, basically all of winter, we're going to be extra tired. We're going to be extra like unmotivated. And the thing is that like really we should not be doing a lot of stuff. We should be.
You're speaking my language.
Yes.
Keep telling me.
Are you feeling that
Keep
right
telling
now?
me that I can take a break.
Yes, I
and
am.
that I
I mean,
deserve it
Mars is telling
astrologically.
us we need to take a break, and just the season of it all, we should be not having to do as much as we do.
Yeah.
So,
for real.
Are you feeling the Mars retrograde?
I have been feeling the Mars retrograde.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah. It's
so
exhausting.
hard. I feel like everybody has, honestly. Like,
yeah.
At work, in my real life, just people are just testing me.
Oh, really? Yeah. Just like it's, I know. I think that's why everyone is a little bit more irritated too, because we're not resting when we need to. And it's like, okay, well, we should be doing this and we're not. So we're just angry and everyone's angry.
Well, we're just like going against our biological like clock, you know?
Exactly.
And then everyone's just like irritated.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a tough one. But the best thing you can do during the retrograde is if you can, like we all have obligations, obviously. We have to work. We have to.
Yeah, but it's like a good time for it because we do get like a week off for Christmas. Like hopefully everyone can go home and like be part of their family, be like
and like have the community,
cozy, eat your Christmas cookies, open your presents.
It's so
be by the fire.
Be by the fire, take a nap. Like that's it, and that's the thing is I am glad that at least we have a little bit of
it's
a
like
break.
a good time. Yeah,
it is a good time, and I think that we need it. And the best thing you can do for the retrograde is to just try to really think about the things you're committing to that take a lot of energy. Try to slow down. And also, I'm really excited to use this time to research and strategize because during retrogrades, it's great to like think about things and strategize, but not actually take action on them.
You gotta set your New Year's resolution.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about, thinking about the astrology of this time. So like right now we're in Sag season. We're in Sagittarius season, which is so fitting for like the holidays and like fun and partying and like everything that they're talking about with Winter Solstice and Yule is all about celebrating and dancing and eating and being together, like just having a good time. And that's so Saggy and so like Jupiterian who rules Sag. And it's like so perfect. And then it's interesting because on the actual day of Winter Solstice, the 21st, sometimes it's the 21st, sometimes it's 22nd, but normally the 21st, this year is the 21st, that's the start of Capricorn season, which is like a very different energy.
Yeah.
It's ruled by Saturn, similar to what we were talking about with the Saturn return episodes and just like the idea of a little bit more restriction. And also, but what's interesting is that like I also feel like the winter solstice is also about looking forward and like looking into what the new year is going to look like and also like reflecting on the past. And Saturn and Capricorn are very much about like thinking of the past and planning ahead to the future. So in a way,
we're getting down to business.
We're getting down to business and like taking some time to slow down, reflect, and then also look towards what you want for the new year. So like,
that's nice.
It is nice. I mean, there's no coincidences with how it all connects. You know what I mean?
It all makes sense. Wait, so that happens every year then?
Yeah, it happens every year. So it's like the winter solstice happens, Capricorn season happens. Same time.
Well, duh, of course it happens every year.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Well, that's okay. No.
But I think I just like had a light bulb moment of like, oh, wait, everything is
all connected. Literally.
Like, this is what it is.
The astrology.
It's all a cycle.
It is all a cycle. And that's the point, is that it is a cycle and that we should be honoring the cycle of nature.
I feel like I just got the point of this episode.
See, this is why I wanted you to be on so that we could like have two different perspectives.
I get it now.
Yeah.
That's why we were talking about Yule in the very beginning, because this is what it is.
That's the whole point. Okay. Exactly.
I'm here.
See, that's the thing.
I'm here.
That's the thing is like like all learning more and more about like what connects us back.
Yeah.
And we've become so disconnected.
Wait, that's cool. That
yeah,
is pretty cool.
I'm glad it makes sense.
Do you see like the light in my eyes now? I'm like, whoa.
So maybe you're gonna have a different relationship with Christmas music now and the carols.
After you sang that song to me, something changed.
Well, I will say, so I was looking up a few symbols of Yule, which are really cool because, like I was saying, it's like it connects back to things that we still do. And like, I want to do more of this. This is my goal is to become more integrated with the culture of Winter Solstice and Yule because it's beautiful. But it's really fun because, so wassail, the word wassail, is actually a spiced cider. But it also can be like a verb, like wassailing, meaning that you're toasting to good health, you're dancing, you're cheersing, you're having fun, you're together. And so that's the song. Here we come, a wassailing among the leaves so green. It's all about like joy, like spreading joy. And that's a
Cheers.
thing. There's like
drink up.
Exactly. There's so much with the Winter Solstice Yule. A lot of it is about death and rebirth. And actually there was some research that I was looking into where like actually their people's wreaths, it's kind of gross, but would be like dead body parts of animals because it was actually
Whoa.
Well, because it was actually celebrating like the death part.
Like the life cycle.
The life cycle, exactly. But I think a lot of people obviously don't do that anymore.
Could you imagine if we did though?
Oh my God, there's just like
like rats and crows and
carcasses and things like that. But like a wreath, like a symbol of the wreath is actually all about like the wheel of the year and the natural cycle of death and rebirth. So a lot of this stuff is about celebrating. A lot of it's about the cycle of the death and rebirth of like life and how, and that makes sense with Capricorn too, I feel like actually, because it's kind of like being able to look at the bigger picture and again, seeing the past, but seeing the future too and the cycle that comes from. But it's really interesting. So wreaths are, all about the wheel of the year, the natural cycle of death and rebirth. Wassail, like I was saying, is like a cider, but it's also like cheersing and enjoying your family and having fun. The Yule log that you were talking about. So an actual Yule log, there's like the cake, but then there's like the actual Yule log, which is basically used to burn, to purify and protect home from evil spirits. And it was sometimes adorned with holly and pine sprigs. And then it was either set on fire for either 12 days, because like I was saying, it's like they celebrate for 12 days, or until it just burns out naturally. So that, and then from there came the cake, that like people used to celebrate.
It's just so interesting that like everything that we see now, like even you were saying Santa Odin, like the wreaths, the cakes, like holly that we hang on our, mistletoes, like all that stuff has like an actual historical like point to it.
Cultures have been doing
and we
this.
just like nobody
no one
thinks about it or knows. It's just like we take it for granted. Like, well, yeah, we're gonna hang a wreath because it's Christmas.
That's the thing.
It's life and rebirth, man. There's
it's
a
so
point
deep.
to it.
It's so deep, and so much of this, like holly, is a symbol of protection and enduring life force and warding off bad spirits. So a lot of these things were also used to protect people from bad spirits, like being in nighttime, having so much nighttime. People would think about that more, like warding off bad spirits, protection. So it's really interesting. And it was cool. I was looking up the difference between so mistletoe is actually more of a feminine symbol, and holly is more the symbol of like the masculine. So it's kind of interesting, these two different directions.
So what is mistletoe?
So mistletoe is actually, it represents vitality, fertility, and romance.
Oh,
so it's the feminine.
I get it.
So it's like if you have a little mistletoe around, it's, I would think that if you were, possibly wanting to be more fertile, like bringing that into your world, that would also help that.
Okay, so I'm throwing away all my mistletoe.
Do not have mistletoe if you do not want to get pregnant. No, that is not any advice. Do not listen to that. But but it is really interesting. Like everything, like you were saying, has a connection. The Yule tree is similar to a Christmas tree,
Mm.
where it's symbolized as like the tree of life. And people used to decorate their Yule trees with pine cones and fruit and berries. And they would leave it outside so that animals could actually eat it and harvest.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So it's like,
That's so
that's
nice.
what a Christmas
Huh.
tree came from.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, all these things have their place and where they started,
Mm-hmm.
and they've shifted, and
And
now we
then,
don't really
yeah.
think about it.
And now we just have Amazon.
I know. How did we get here? Danielle, how did we get here?
I'm still trying to figure that out. If I knew, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here. We would be like in the land, like having a Yule
Yeah.
tree and decorating it.
I'd be in
and
the woods right now if I
Yeah.
could be.
That's the goal. That's the goal, to just have a cabin and just like live
Yeah.
on the land.
And make little trees for forest
I
animals.
know. It's so
I actually might do
sweet.
that.
Well,
Like, that's so
yeah,
cute.
you should. The goal is not that we can go back to that time. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
can't go back to, the era where, I mean, we have jobs, we have cars, we have fake electricity, or we have fake
Mm-hmm.
light,
But we can still, like, remember where it came from and
Yeah.
maybe be more mindful about
We
it.
can, and try to maybe do things that connect us back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like have a day where you don't have any artificial light. See what that does for your sleep. It really changes things.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Not being on your phone until, like, 3 a.m.
Yeah, trying to not have a day without your phone. So it's like the goal is that we try to connect back to this as much as we can while
Mm-hmm.
living in these modern times.
Yeah.
But it was really fun, learning more about this, because again, like I try to bring as much, like this kind of stuff is just like, it makes me really happy to have
Yeah.
lights. It makes me happy to have greenery. And I didn't really know like where it came from. I didn't know the like history of these things, but it was really interesting to look more into it and just like
Yeah.
learn, oh, okay, this like has a significance of why it's important.
Yeah.
So maybe I need those things more in my life, but it's very cool. And like the last couple things, and then I want to talk about a couple songs that I feel like connect to this. But candles are a big part of winter solstice, obviously for warmth and to represent the sun. And then pine branches, white lights, silver ornaments represent the theme of life, everlasting, and divinity. So again, there's a lot of themes about life and everlasting life and death and rebirth and all these things, which is kind of like, I feel like every new year I do feel a little bit of a rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you feel that
New
way.
year, new me.
I mean, that's how I feel like we've all like marketed it, but it's kind of like it is almost
Yeah.
a rebirth, which is pretty cool too. So, and then the last one is bells. Actually, bells are used to drive away demons and mark the halfway point of the year, which is pretty
That's
cool.
what I use bells for.
Be gone, be gone,
Get
be
outta
gone,
here.
get out of here. But it was really cool to look at. So there was 3 songs that I felt like, again, I'm not sure if this is totally connected, but I do feel like, it has some type of significance with each other. And the first one was Here We Come a Wassailing. It's a great caroling song. It's a great choir song. I heard some beautiful choir sing it. Also, the 12 Days of Christmas, I know that's actually, so it's connected to, in medieval England, it's actually, they celebrate for 12 days after Christmas Day. And that's what the 12 Days of Christmas is about. But I really felt like it was also connected to the 12 Days of Yule, which I'm not sure if like medieval England picked up on that, picked up on that tradition, but it feels like like in that Northern European area, people I'm sure picked up on in each other's traditions and then kind of created it for their own, like changed it in whatever way they needed.
adapted it.
They adopted it. So 12 Days of Christmas really felt connected to that too. And then also, I just thought of the song Carol of the Bells. Do you know that one?
I do know that one.
Yeah. Hark all the bells, sweet silver bells. And
I literally love it.
And that song is all about bringing good cheer and joy to everyone, which, if you remember, we were talking about the bells and stuff like that as being one of the symbols of Yule. So I personally feel like that could also be a connection to Yule and winter solstice and everything like that.
What do you think rocking around the Christmas tree symbolizes?
That one, I think, is on a whole different path. I mean, that came in what, the 50s or 60s, I believe.
Mhm.
So that was like a whole different generation.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah. I mean, it would be pretty cool if that was connected to Yule and Winter Solstice too.
Maybe deep down.
Maybe deep down. But it's really fun to like look at all this stuff. And I was curious, how you're feeling going into this winter solstice and what phase are you in right now? And do you feel like the astrology, like you were saying with the Mars retrograde and everything, is connecting to where you're at right now?
I think that I'm excited to go home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to go see my family. I think I need a break.
Yeah.
It's been a long, long year. Like, it has been a long year.
So the
for
reflecting
everybody
you're
I
doing,
know.
yeah, it's been a long year.
It's been a long year of changes for literally everybody I know. Like,
Yeah.
everybody in, the same stage of life I'm in. And I'm just, like, ready to rest. I have a whole week off of work. I'm excited to just, like, be with my family.
Yeah.
Do all my little traditions.
Yeah.
Relax.
Maybe decorate a Yule tree.
Yeah, maybe do that.
Yule
maybe
log.
do a Yule log.
Yeah.
We have, okay, this is such a side track, but we do like the Marascalchi family bake off every year. Have I told you about this?
No, I love it.
It's
What are your
very intense. We based off of the Great British Bake Off, because me and my mom love that show. It's the 6th year running.
Yeah.
We have to bake something, and then we have outside judges come in to judge because nobody in my family can be trusted.
Who's the judges? Like, how
we like
people in the town?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Like, this is a thing now. Like,
wow.
we get post office people to come in and like eat what we bake, and like they judge it on like on a point system based off of creativity, taste, and looks. This whole thing. And then
intense,
the winner of the last year gets to choose the next year's like baking thing, and last year it was a Yule log.
Really?
So like each one of my family made a Yule log.
Oh my God, you should
and,
send
like,
us a picture of that so we can post it. That'd be a lot
And my
of fun.
mom won that year, so then she picked this year's, which is Danish's.
Wow.
So
okay.
yeah, last year we did like make the whole Yule log thing, and like it got very intense.
I love that.
It was very
that is so sweet.
It's like a whole thing in my family, like baking.
And that's the thing. Everyone has like those different traditions that it's one of those things. Some people, I think the traditions have to change because families change and times
people
change.
grow up, and like you know, kids get out of the house, and we don't believe in Santa anymore. We like don't do like it's like as you grow up, there's less emphasis on the gifts part of it,
and more like
and
the
more
time together.
and more emphasis on like doing things together. At least for like my family.
Yeah, it gets complicated, but I think the best thing during this Mars retrograde, especially, and it was interesting you were talking about the big changes and the Pluto moving into Aquarius is a big change we've all thought about, I'm sure, and talked about a little bit. And also, you're probably going through your Saturn return, which is something we talked about last episode.
Oh, it's rough out here right now.
It's rough for a 27-year-old out here.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but it seems like you're doing well with it, and I think getting that like relaxation and rest and family time and connection time is like you know.
I need to do like a real introspective New Year's list this year, because usually I'm like, I want to lose 10 pounds, and then that never happens, or like I want to do like I don't know, go skydiving or like something stupid like but I feel like at this point in my life I'm like, what do I actually like want to accomplish next year? Like actually think about it. Like actually what is achievable and like important, and like I think I need to like do some real
introspection.
Yeah.
Well, the deep Capricorn energy, and
lean into it.
Totally.
Write some things down.
I mean, honestly, me and producer Alana, we love doing vision boarding.
I do love a vision
for the
board.
new. Maybe that's something we can all do this year together.
Be so fun.
Yeah,
I love a craft.
I know you're so crafty.
Maybe
you could crochet your vision for the new.
Crochet a vision board.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever way feels good for you to like put out what you want in the new year. That's what it's about.
So. Like career goals, life goals, like I'm almost 30, man.
You're not almost 30. You're 27.
I turned 28.
Calm down.
Okay, I'm 28.
Okay,
I'm
28.
officially in my late 20s. I can't say mid to late anymore.
Yeah.
We're here. We're
doing
rapidly approaching 30.
Well, you know what? But you have a whole year to be 28. So you can see what happens.
That's so sweet.
You do. You just
You're
turned
so nice.
28 in November.
Yeah,
So
I know.
she's a
but
Scorpio, everyone.
Can you tell? No, it's just nice to be reminded.
Yes. You
be
you
in
have
the
a whole
moment.
year
Be
ahead
present.
of you. Yeah. And that's really coming back to the point of what we're talking about is, I mean, again, the people that were celebrating Winter Solstice and Yule were in the moment just celebrating.
That's true. They weren't worrying about being 30.
No, they didn't even know if they were going to make it to 30.
Yeah, they had 6 kids already, and they were chopping wood.
Yeah,
okay,
and making Yule logs.
Yeah.
So times were different.
So they didn't care.
But in a way, it's really nice that they were just so focused on the celebration.
They were just happy to be there, yeah.
Exactly. Just the simple thing of more light coming into the day and knowing that spring and summer were ahead.
Just around the corner.
Yeah. And we'd be okay,
Yeah.
So it's really sweet. What are your last thoughts about any of this?
What are my last thoughts? I'm just excited to hear you sing more. Take it away.
That'll be a bonus episode of AstroLyrical. But anyways, well, I'm really glad you were here with me. I know we had to do a little pulling of your leg to get you on.
Listen, I'm happy to be here, and I do love to talk into a microphone.
I know you do. I knew you would get into
it
once we got into it. And
I just I feel like out of all 4 of us who work on this podcast, I'm the least educated in astrology.
Well, that's very interesting to talk to.
I know. Yeah. That's why it's nice to be actually on this side of the couch.
Yeah. I think it's fun to talk to people of all kinds who know a lot and know very little. And now, I mean, I didn't really know a lot about Winter Solstice before either, other than the fact that it was the shortest day of the year. So I learned a lot researching this, and now we can kind of take these symbols and traditions and maybe use them in our day-to-day life more. So we'll see what happens. So
here we come a wassailing, a wassailing, a wassailing. Here we come a wassailing.
We'll send that to you guys. I'm glad that was the main thing you took from this.
I loved it.
Well, I hope everyone else loved it too. Let us know if you want some wassailing clips to listen to during your Christmas season. I'd be happy to sing them for you. And if not, that's fine too. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Danielle. But thank you again for...
It was fun.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun learning about this. And as always, I hope everyone enjoyed the episode. Let us know what you think. We appreciate your reviews. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your messages, emails so much, so that we can get a sense of what you guys are picking up from this season and what you'd like to hear.
And follow us at AstroLyrical_pod on Instagram.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Well, thank you all again, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Thanks for listening. This podcast has been a LiliRose production, created by Liana Bassior, produced by Juliana Hartman, Danielle Marascalchi, and Alana Cheuvront. Audio by John Neisen. Stay tuned for next week's episode, where we dive into another musician's chart and explore their music.